Hey, we're the Flick Chicks.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Monica.
And this is the episode where we've never met nobody.
like you. Have friends and I have buddies. I don't know
way
all the words.
you dance.
It's true.
Oh, that's better. You're probably.
But they don't turn my tummy the way you do.
That was good.
I've never met nobody like you. Yeah,
exactly. So basically, this is an announcement that me and Monica are going on tour. I thought,
yeah.
You guys.
Oh, I was gonna say that we are officially 4 townies, but that works as well.
We're going on tour with them. You know, like the least we can
Oh
do.
yeah, groupies.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you could not tell from that reference, we are going to be reviewing Turning Red, the newest Pixar movie that was released maybe like a week or two ago, I guess. Maybe
2
weeks ago.
No, I don't know.
In March. Okay?
Some time ago.
Yes.
Recently. That's all recently.
We can say. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a short recap. Or maybe I'll just highlight the premise, honestly. And then we'll talk about things we liked, things we didn't, and then finally give it a letter grade.
Per usual, for our usual roasting movie by the fire series format.
Yes. If you're new here. The veterans know what we're talking about.
If you're new here, welcome.
Welcome, yeah.
Yeah, if you've been here, you know what's about to go down.
Exactly. Okay, so Turning Red is a coming-of-age movie set in 2004, I'm not from, or is it 2002?
I think it's 2002.
Yes, and it stars Mei Lee. She's like a 13-year-old girl who...
Mei Lin
Lee, thank you. Who, she comes from... So she's a Chinese-Canadian, I guess that... it's relevant to the story. she comes.
It is relevant to the story.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
She comes from a line. Well, I would say her ancestors are known for their emblem. I don't know what the proper word is, but basically the red panda is like the spiritual animal of her family, basically, and she grows up tending to a temple with her mom and her dad. Like that's what they do, like a family business. And she has her friends. She's a normal 13-year-old girl, but then one day, after a very embarrassing moment with her mom, we could say, she started to feel a lot of emotions. Okay. And she literally turns into a red panda. And then her parents end up revealing that, like, from her mom's lineage, that her great-great-great-great-great-grandma, like, actually asked the gods to turn her into a red panda to defend herself from, like, from the army in her country, or in her village. Like, there was beef there. And that gift, that gift became more of they call it a nuisance or inconvenience. Yeah. Because they still have that gift that once they come of age, so around like 13, 14, for example, they also turn into red pandas whenever they feel strong emotions like anger, sadness, not really anything. And they do a ritual. All the women in her family have this condition, but on her mom's side, but they perform a ritual that can only happen when there's a full moon outside. And this ritual helps them like capture the red panda spirit in some type of oh my goodness, like jewelry
item,
like an item. I forget what it's. Why am I saying Horcrux? Like that's
that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, it literally is. But basically, the spirit of the panda can be put into an object so that they don't turn into a panda, and as long as they keep it with them, they won't turn into the panda when they get angry or whatever. So, Mei Lin Lee's ceremony is like from when she turns into a panda. It's like 2 or 3 weeks away. But and she plans on not showing up at school at all to just avoid it. But then her friends kind of convince her to come to school anyways, because she realizes that when she thinks about her friends, like it's easier for her to control the panda, period. And I'm gonna fast forward. So long story short, the more she uses the panda, the harder it is to, undo the panda when the ceremony comes. But she's using it for a bunch of reasons. Specifically, she wants to raise money to go to a concert with her friends and people be paying to see the panda. So that's what's happening.
They started a whole business.
It's giving entrepreneurs
enough money. Exactly. Because they really want to go to this boy band concert.
Yeah,
because they're all four townies.
Exactly.
Which means they're part of the fan club of Four Town, which is a boy band
that is coming to Toronto, right? And I would say the big like twist or the climax at not the climax, but this part at the third act twist, let's say, is that she realizes that the concert is actually on the day of her ceremony. Like she mistook it, and then she gets really upset by this and almost like, or basically attacks one of her classmates as the panda, and basically her mom finds out like kind of what's been going on, but Maylin Lee kind of throws her friends under the bus rather than owning up to, you know, her part in it. So her mom is like, it's cool, we're going to take you home. And then her friends are like, fine, we'll go to the concert without her. And then during the ceremony where she's supposed to, you know, get the panda taken out, she realizes that, you know, I guess she has a lot of good memories with the panda at this point, like being the panda. And that this is not what she wants. Maylin Lee thinks that. So she stops the ceremony and she decides to go to the concert by herself. And there's like this really cool sequence where she's like flipping between human and panda, which I thought was really cool. And her mom is upset by this, and she actually, her necklace ends up getting broken, which was her like thing that kept her panda spirit in, and she turns into the biggest panda I've ever seen. Okay,
like Godzilla.
Oh my goodness,
size panda.
Like, ew, what?
Like Maylin Lee was like a 7 foot tall panda. Yes. Like, you know,
like bigger than
like
the
a mascot
size.
But yeah, this lady's literally like 100 feet tall.
Like dangerous. Like I'm surprised that her grandma only got that little cut. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, no, for some reason her mom is like this ginormous panda.
Yeah. So sorry, what was it? So basically, yeah, she goes to the concert. She kind of apologizes to her friends, but her mom ends up confronting her at the concert as a 12 feet tall, whatever, panda.
12? We're talking 100.
I don't even know how.
She's taller than the Rogers Center.
I don't know.
I think that's maybe about 100. That's a little more than 12
Probably.
feet tall.
That's just 2 6 feet people put on top of each other.
Yeah.
But she's humongous, okay? She's Godzilla on steroids.
That's what I'm saying. You're thinking Godzilla, like, bigger than, you know, bigger than the Hulk, I guess.
Yeah. So
Maylin is like Hulk size.
Yeah.
Mom is like, you know, gigantic.
Oh my goodness, she's like Ant-Man when he's really feeling big.
No, even honestly, maybe,
like
maybe a little bit bigger than that.
When he like
when he goes giant.
The flying person, I forget who. Anyways,
yeah, about that tall.
Sorry, very tall, guys. So
I'm sure you probably already watched the movie. And you're like, I get it.
Skip it. Okay, so basically, her and her mom have this huge confrontation, and let's just skip. Like they have to perform the ceremony on the mom because the mom's wilding again. So they do it.
Her mom basically is like destroying the Rogers Center.
Destroying that. She's gonna cause some casualties. So they're like, we better.
Yeah, I don't know how she didn't kill anyone.
Facts.
At that concert,
I was like, that is the most.
Somehow everyone escaped unharmed.
Yeah. So she ends up turning back into back into a human with the pendant. But Maylin Lee actually chooses to keep her red panda powers, let's call them that. And basically we'll discuss it more, but her and her mom's relationship has changed now. Like she's supposedly more honest with her, because it's kind of a theme that she hasn't been honest with her mom throughout the whole thing. And
her mom is kind of like, I guess, like your typical like overbearing, immigrant parent, where like she's like trying to be very involved in her daughter's life, and her daughter like feels like she has a lot to owe, like she owes something to her mom, I guess. So she has a perfectionism complex, our main character, mostly from what the expectations she has from her mom. And we learn that her mom kind of has the exact same relationship with her mom, so it's like passed down like generational trauma. Anyways, so then basically it ends with Maylin Lee like embracing the panda, and that's kind of the end of it. And she's obviously back with her friends and everything's cool. So the end. The end. All right, that was a recap. It was in 9 minutes. Not upset about it. Not too bad, obviously. And then obviously there's other like themes that are explored in the movie, like going through puberty and like friendship.
Yeah, some people would say the panda
is an allegory for, or is it not an allegory?
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, the
metaphor?
panda is supposed to be an allegory for puberty.
Yes, which I understood that. Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, because then it's like every emotion you feel is like super strong now, and like you feel like you can't hide it anymore, and then it, it causes all these problems and whatnot. It's funny because like when she first turns into a panda, her mom mistakes it for her getting her period, so it's like she thinks that she had just gotten her period, and she's like, did the red flower bloom? And she's like, I'm red, but
but not in the way you think.
Not in the way you think.
All right. Do you want to start with things you liked?
Yeah. I liked the movie. I liked everything.
Oh yeah?
I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be kind of boring for me, but like I couldn't like think of anything wrong with it.
Really?
Like,
interesting.
I just thought it was really good. I thought it was super cute. Okay, first of all, I'll say like the one thing I really liked is how accurate it is.
That's like literally what it says was very accurate to how a 13-year-old would.
Just so accurate to like, yeah, exactly. Like being 13, being like a 13-year-old girl, being a 13-year-old girl who has immigrant parents.
Yeah, that's good.
Being a 13-year-old girl who has immigrant parents in Toronto, like Canada.
Why did they
like
have to aim at us immediately?
I was literally like, this movie was for me. Like literally all I'm missing is just being Chinese. But anyways, like it was just like so accurate, and like I really liked just how they portrayed, I guess, Maylin as a character. Like just her personality, I feel like was really like interesting to see. Like just her whole thing, especially with like, I remember at the beginning of the movie, like her friends were telling her, oh, we're going to go karaoke, and she's like, oh, but I have to go home. And they were like, oh, she's so brainwashed or whatever. But she's like, well, I have responsibilities like at home or whatever. Like it just made it was like really relatable. I get that. And like I loved like the portrayal of like the female friendships. Like I feel like this movie was very like female centered. Like obviously there's Maylin and then her friends and then her mom. Like I feel like it's very much like a girl like experience. And like I just really liked how it was like friendship was like a big thing. And like again, as someone who was also a fangirl growing up, like the experience is just so accurate. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And just like crushing on boys, like doing all that stuff. Like it was just it's really accurate. It's really relatable, I think. And I think like it's a really good story. Like I'm glad that it's like there's something
like that
geared towards like that age group that's not afraid to like actually show real things, like like she's worried, oh, she thinks that she got her period, or like she's making like fan art for like this guy that she is like has a crush on, or like they're like screaming about this boy band, like you know what I mean, like just like simple like things that I feel like girls are very like ridiculed for.
For sure.
But they're shown in like a normal, like this is just a normal teenage girl experience type of thing, and I thought it was really funny and like really cute, and like it was just a fun movie. And the music, so good.
Songs are catchy as hell.
I'm about to be a 4-townie at this point. Like the scene at the end, we were just talking about this right before we started recording, but the scene at the end when they did a reprise or whatever of the one song, I think it's like
Nobody Like You. It's what it's called officially.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Nobody Like You. Okay, yeah. The main like song, I guess, that the Four Town sings. They did like a reprise of it at the end when they're doing like the ceremony. So like there's like the women who are like chanting in Cantonese like to do the ceremony, and then they start singing the song at the same time, and he hits this high note.
Oh my god.
It's so good. Like literally just there like doing their whatever and chanting, and then they're just like, I've never met nobody. And he's like doing all these runs, and he's like
acapella,
and then do. Oh, it's so good.
A+.
And like
I like
was
the
literally
crowd
there, I was
like started doing it too. Like they were like,
yeah, literally everyone just started like singing along. Oh my god, it was so fun. I just loved it. And I think like it was very like it had some good emotional moments too with like the family and like stuff like that. So I liked a lot of it. I was trying to like make a list of things I didn't like, and I really couldn't think of anything like explicit, I guess, that I didn't like.
No, I had time to, because I did talk with my roommate about it, so I think I had time to like really articulate what worked and what I would have, I won't say like I didn't like, but what should have been in there. I think that's more my standpoint. But I 100% agree with, like, just to sum up things we liked. It was so accurate to how a 13-year-old acts / like would experience things. I I won't even acknowledge, like, apparently there's people who are like, a 13-year-old would never like do this fanfic stuff. I was like,
if you ever, even if you start anything saying like, oh, but at 13, I would be like, no,
nah.
Everything she did in this movie was exactly what she should have done.
Girl, sorry.
Yeah, no,
like, no.
Either you've never met one or you've never been one.
I'm like, what do you think? Who's on Wattpad? What? Yeah,
girl,
exactly.
I was on Wattpad when I was like 12.
Yeah, I know.
Like
that's
11.
what I'm like.
Like,
I'm like, those are like people writing. Like, so drawing is like not that hard. Like, come on.
Oh
like,
yeah, no.
Goodness. I mean,
yeah.
I'm saying like to start drawing, not literally drawing. Drawing obviously is a very skilled thing. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but like, drawing like your crush, and
exactly.
She drew him as like a mermaid or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, that,
and I thought
happened.
It was so accurate how she was like all her friends are like, oh, he's hot, and she's like, I don't see it. And then she like, it kind of is significant to like how kind of puberty works. Like a lot of
and then like it's funny, she only starts thinking of him as cute like later on,
right? Versus
after she becomes the panda or whatever.
Exactly. So I feel like it shows how like some people's like experience with attraction of like whoever they like can be either slower or faster. So like you can be the last one in your friends to start being attracted to, if you don't, not everybody is, but if you are, it can be, at a different progression than other people, and it's like completely fine, and that's definitely something that happens. Yeah, my second note was the songs were catchy as hell. Yeah, like it was a well done movie, definitely. But like I guess I'll go into things I didn't like, or things that, like I said,
yeah, maybe once you say things like, I'll like,
you might,
like, oh, yeah,
I don't think you'll
but
disagree with the points. It could, like, it's just like a little cherry on top to make it, because this is what I'll say, this is still a Pixar movie, right? And I do look to Pixar to like knock me out emotionally, right? And I felt like there was one particular moment where I really thought they were gonna get me, and they didn't, and that's okay, that's fine. But
this is like one of the least like sad Pixar movies, I will say. Pixar movies are known for being like very sad or like bittersweet,
for
or
sure.
like, just people dying, people, you know what I mean? But this one is notoriously or notably, I guess, more upbeat.
It is more upbeat, definitely. But I thought there was this one moment where I thought they could like kind of touch upon what like Inside Out did a little bit, with the like relationships changing like between families. For me particularly was like there was the part where she lied to her mom about why she could control the panda. She told her that she thinks of the people she loves most in the world, and then she told her she thinks of her mom, which was not the case. She was thinking of her friends, right? And
I don't even remember that.
You don't remember that? Yeah, like
no.
I
thought she was telling her that her friends, because she thought of her
no
friends.
She literally said you guys, like her parents. and her mom even bragged to it to her aunties and stuff, because they were like, how can your daughter like control the panda? You remember, like she was a little like, I don't think so. And then she was like, she can, because she thinks of me and it works out. And like she was like, yeah, like because she lied.
Oh my god.
So that point wasn't ever addressed ever again, right? And I thought it would have made a really good like conversation because I think they were hinting to that. Like I think it's just natural for parents, especially if you relate to one parent the most, like maybe mother-daughter relationships specifically, where the daughter starts to like distance herself a little bit. And like not on some like I don't love you anymore mom type vibe. It's just like my friends are kind of
like, you're not the most important person in my life.
You're not necessarily the most, and I thought,
or like the only important person
right?
in my
and I
life
thought
anymore.
they were gonna make it, because it was very much like her mom was mad at her because she like betrayed her. Like that's how she felt. Like when she turned into Godzilla, she was like, how could she do this to me, like to her own mother? It was very much like we have this special relationship, and how could she like do something. Like she took it too personal, I think, the mom, right?
Yeah.
And I thought they were gonna address that. Like, I thought it was a little not my favorite, that the reason that the mom like fell or whatever was because what's her name, Maylin, like literally hit her in the face. I was like, I really expected her to say something mean. Like that's what I thought it was gonna be. I thought she was gonna say something like. I literally thought it was gonna be the lie. Like I thought she was gonna be like, I love my friends the most. Like they're the reason that I calmed down. You're the reason that I turned into the panda in the first place. Cause low key, that kind of was the case.
It's true though,
right?
yeah.
So I thought they would address that, and then later her come back and be like, I'm sorry, like I said that, but that's not true. Like It's just that there's other people in my life who are really important to me, and that doesn't mean you're less important to me. It's just like I gotta make room for new people in my life, basically, and to find my own way, whatever. I thought they would do that, and they didn't. And I feel like if they did, the movie would be like to me, like top 5 or something on like the Pixar list for me personally, because I thought the elements were like really lining up, but I just felt like for me personally, the emotional payoff wasn't like there, because I don't think, like, I don't know, I understand what they were trying to do. I still think they tried to get it with the whole, when her mom was trying to get her through the mirror or whatever, and she was like
during the ceremony,
and she's like, I don't want our relationship to change. And I thought that was good. Like, I thought it was like close, but I feel like they could have like really like doubled down on that. And I think some people have been, this is my biggest criticism, I really don't have any other ones, but that's why I'm like, I can ramble with this one, I guess. But some people have criticized the movie for there's a lot of criticisms that I'm like, you're stupid, but this one I can kind of see. Some people said that for younger kids, it's harder for them to catch what the lesson was, and I do agree with that, because I was watching it with my little sister.
I mean, and then, I can see that too, because it is like I said, it is very like geared to older like kids, like tweens and stuff like that. And I feel that I understand. And I feel like there wasn't, and if you notice, there wasn't a point where Mei Lin apologized to her mom, like to her. Like, she might have cried like after she like passed out, but there wasn't like that conversation like, hey mom, like, sorry I knocked you out, I just can't get over how that actually happened. Like, she was like, what? And then her mom was like, what the heck? But that, I do think, and I know like it's nitpicky, but for a children's movie, I do think those kind of things are important. You do need to be sometimes more explicit with like resolutions, because kids need to learn that like this is how you resolve conflict. So I do that I understand. I think too, like on the same note, like kind of in the same vein of that though, I kind of, this is just my opinion, I feel like some movies are just not meant for like super young kids, and that's also like, that's also okay. And like I know Pixar always, like they always did movies that like, you know, you are for all ages, where you could watch all ages, but like I am kind of glad that they did this one movie where it is a little bit more of a narrow, or like
audience
I guess, not narrow audience, because again, like I think anyone could enjoy, like younger kids could still watch it and enjoy it. Like they might not catch the lesson, but I think too, like sometimes like the lesson is going to be super specific to like a certain age group or whatever. And like, I don't know, like I said, I feel like there's not a lot of like good movies that are specifically geared towards like preteens, or like, you know, teens that are just about to like go through like I'm talking like the maybe like 10 to 13 range or whatever.
Middle grade.
Because like the problem is there is a lot of like stuff like that, but either there'll be stuff with like kids in like that age in it, either it'll be too mature, like something like Big Mouth, or too mature, like Big Mouth, or you know, where it's clearly just meant for adults, but like it's about that, or it'll be too young and they won't address any of like the important things, because it's like, oh well, this is for a young audience, we can't talk about these things because it's too mature for them, or, you know what I mean? So like that, I understand why like a super young kid probably wouldn't get the lesson or whatever, but I'm glad that they're at least trying to go into a little more of a niche like group, I guess, with Pixar, because I feel like the one thing about Pixar is, like I said, for all of their movies, they kind of it's not all the same formula, but it's all like the type of thing where it's set, like the main characters are usually kids, and then the lessons can be applied to everybody. But I like this one where it's like, you know, it's an older age group and it's a very specific issue, which is like a girl going through puberty. And like I said, they kind of did that with Inside Out, but with Inside Out it was still kind of more on like the kid side of things, because with the anthropomorphic emotions and stuff like that, and then they kind of, you know, make it in a broader sense where, you know, it's okay to be sad, like, you know what I mean, like that's a emotion that's a lesson that everyone can learn about. But when you're talking about when you're going through puberty and everything's changing, you gotta fix your relationship with your mom, like that's very specific. So I am glad that like they're switching it up a little. I do
agree with that. I just think still, like, I don't know, I just think the lesson could have been stronger about like your relationship changed with your mom, and that's okay. And like I do think they were there, but they didn't like emotionally get me. That's my thing. Like I feel like I'm the target in a way, like no, not literally by age, but like by experience, right? Like and I didn't think they like even this might be too much. This is just, again, it's not my movie. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I would even like like that part where they were like, she's like, come back, like I don't want this to change. And I felt, or maybe I'm literally, it's Inside Out that's gonna keep getting to my head, because in Inside Out there was literally like, I think there was like a montage where her mom, like her parents reflected on all the times when she was younger. Like there was like for some reason there was like a montage of when she was like a baby, and then when she turned older, and like all these like things. I felt like they could have a little bit done that with the mom and the daughter, of like maybe scenes of them like together when they were younger, because it seems like for her mom was like her best friend for a long time before these girls, like, and this is the whole thing of like, oh, she's like, oh, I have responsibilities, but I also think part of it is like, no, like this is like what I do with my mom every day after school, like I'm not gonna stop that like ritual. And I think the fact that she kind of does want to stop that now, she feels like guilty, but also she's like, this is what I really want. And I just wanted more of that like final nail in the coffin, not coughing, oh my goodness.
Nail in the coffin.
Yeah, because I think it's like,
no, I could see that.
Yeah, it's like the whole like growing up, your parents are your whole world, and then when you get older, it's kind of like, well, you know, there's other people who are cool too. And then I say the last little thing that I didn't like, very tiny, but this is me being like petty, is her friends forgave her quick. Like, I'm just saying, if I were her friends, I would have been like, go run back to your mama, who...
I feel like that's like, maybe that was them also trying to throw in a little lesson where it's like sometimes your friends do stupid shit, and like,
I think it was,
they probably weren't thinking well. Like I feel like if they held a grudge against her, that wouldn't have been very
like
good
from
for the
this
kids.
Is not a movie going stand, this is just a complaint, like from
like if we're talking like Love Simon friendship fight resolve thing, I would have been like, that was messed up. But with this one, I'm kind of like, you know, like I feel like maybe they understood. They were like, I get it, like, you know, your like your mom was literally yelling at us,
because I was like, girl, like you already know your mom don't like what's her name?
But they were also at a Four Town concert, so I feel like if I was at a Four Town concert and I was a fangirl, I'd have been like, yeah, whatever, let's listen. But
I was like,
concert.
girl, like I just needed something, like, because you know what I didn't like, I guess that made me more like okay, asterisk, was what's her name, the white friend, I'm so sorry. Miriam, is that her name? Yeah. She was the one who like kept her Tamagotchi going like the whole time, right? Yeah. And I felt like that was a gesture that Mei Lin should have had. Like they kind of should have switched that, you know? Like, oh, I see.
Like having Mei Lin do something.
Yeah, like even if it's that small, like I would have been like, aw, like, you know, whatever. And then maybe Miriam's like, yeah, I kept your Tamagotchi alive too. And then it's like, that's cute. I just needed a tiny gesture from her, apart from like, you know, sneaking illegally into a concert.
Illegally? Well, didn't she have a ticket? Oh no, she didn't. No. Maybe she bought a ticket. I don't know.
Because they didn't get the money.
How did she get in then?
No, because remember.
No, they did. That's how they bought the 3 tickets.
No, they had enough money for 3 tickets. And then she was like, let's do the party. She was supposed to do and then he was like,
I just wonder how Mei Lin got into the concert.
She just flew in.
Jump.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I forgot. Yeah. It's been like, I watched it right the day it came out. So I feel like maybe I should have rewatched it. But
no, it's all good. No, she literally like flew in. Dropped in.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Or even like, I don't know. Maybe something with the tickets too. That could have been cute. I don't know. I feel like that's just me being, again, nitpicky.
Maybe she went and bought them all merch.
Yeah, like, yeah, right? Like, I feel like I would have not even blinked an eye if she's like, I got you all, like, you know, a 4-town keychain and the 4-town super pack. Like, I would have been like, yeah, I feel like that's accurate for 13. But I still think a 13-year-old would be like, not you throwing me under the bus for your mama. Like, yeah, provide the, you know, stuff. But again, that's just nitpicky. I still think it was a good movie. I think my biggest thing is I just need more of these so that I don't have to like nitpick the one, because like this one should be allowed to exist and like others should be around for me to like prefer one over the other. You know what I mean? Like
I don't.
You know what else I need more of?
What?
More movies set in Canada.
Facts. Oh, actually, can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Listen, I love the scenery, but me and my brother kept laughing sometimes when the Canadian references were too Canadian. Like, did you notice? You might not notice. She had a moose car freshener.
Oh,
and I was like,
I don't know if I saw that one, but yeah, there's definitely like they're definitely packing on like the Canadian
like they were like
stuff. I just thought it was funny, like because you know, like Maylin, every time like she was in class or like at school or like she would literally be wearing like or like her pajama shirt is like a Canada shirt, and then she's wearing a toque that has a bunch of Canadian flags on it. But I think also that's kind of accurate though, because like I don't know, like I feel like especially growing up, like I don't know if it was just me, but like my parents are always buying me stuff that said like Canada on it, Canada this, Canada that. All of my mom's like old clothes, like she'd have a bunch of stuff that says Canada, because it's like when you come to the new country,
you're trying to.
Like, oh, I gotta buy everything Canada, and then you get all these hand me downs.
I do have like a couple, like I have a Toronto, Canada shirt that my mom got, like that is accurate, but I feel like like
obviously they gotta do it more for the movie because they gotta really make it known that it's for sure like set in Canada or whatever.
But I laughed because I was like, the moose one to me was like, that's something an American would do to make you think that's true. Because I was like, anybody who lives in Toronto knows that we've probably never seen half of them have never seen a moose in their life, like up close.
Yeah, that's true.
Like what? And I was like, and also if they're an immigrant family, I don't think they would be I don't know. That's a generalization, but I don't think they'd be into the moose. Like I don't know.
Yeah, moose is like a weird thing, right? That like. I feel like maybe one of the Pixar like executives was like, yeah, you should throw moose in there.
Yeah, because they're like, Canada, like, where the moose
are. Is like a thing that non-Canadians think is very Canadian,
right?
But like
they're like, oh,
I don't ever like think of moose
ever
often. Like I don't know.
Never in my life.
Maybe like beaver, I guess, but not.
I feel moose. Like I've like deer is more common of like a just if you had to like say an animal, like I'd be like, yeah, I've seen deer.
A Canadian animal. I would say like the Canadian.
Oh, you're saying Canadian animals specifically?
Like an animal like that you think like when you think of Canada.
When I
like,
think
what
of
animal
Canada,
do you think of? You know what I mean?
I guess I don't know why I think of blue jays, but I don't know. That's just
I was thinking like the Canada goose, like
yeah, the goose is that's a good one. Yeah,
them shits are everywhere.
Honestly, I would think of the.
Actually, I think it's a little inaccurate that I didn't see a single Canada goose in this movie.
Facts.
Those goose will find you.
They're actually scary, bruh.
Those geese will find you anywhere and everywhere, including in downtown Toronto. So I would like to see one like flying by.
That is
especially
accurate.
Since it's May. Ooh. Since it's like this movie set in like April, May, they should have been flying back to like. They should have been doing their migration.
Literally, could have had one scene where she's running away from one because that's accurate.
Yeah, that would have been like exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
that makes sense. The moose one, I was like, this is.
That's what I'm saying. Moose are like I feel like not as common of an animal that people think, maybe because we don't live in the country, we don't live in like in Muskoka.
I know, but I feel like
geese are like the city animals.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, it's set in Toronto. Like, what are you doing? Like, I feel like it's almost like if they made a movie set in Miami and then they bring a crocodile. Like, it's like I guess there are crocodiles in Florida, but like, or alligators or whatever, but it's like, is this
Yeah. My only thing, I didn't really mind like all the little Canada thing. Like I loved it when they're in the kitchen and there's like a box of Tim Hortons.
That was the best.
On the table, and like it's the old logo too.
The
like
old logo,
they really
but
thought
I was like,
that through.
were the flavors accurate? Because I was like, I feel like the birthday cake one, I was like, that's new.
Oh yeah, no, that's not accurate.
Yeah, I was like, that is not.
That I'll get it for. But like the one thing I wish they had done though, like this, like literally the tiniest thing would have made it so much better, is if they taught the actors how to pronounce Toronto properly.
What did they say?
Because Toronto.
Oh, they kept saying that?
I'm like, that's literally how you know. Like that was just the one thing where I was like, like they could have at least just been like, I just noticed, especially
matriarchy.
Girl Sandra Oh, you are from Canada.
No way, she is
pronouncing it Toronto. Yeah.
No,
I'm pretty sure I don't think she was born in Toronto. I think she's from like London, Ontario or something.
Oh,
like
interesting.
No,
let
me look it up.
I
think maybe like
Ramakrishnan, sorry if I'm butchering last name. She should have set them straight. She's from Saga. Like
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and I don't think Maitreyi's character ever had to say the word Toronto, but I bet if she did, she probably would have said it properly.
True. It's not like she's actually in the recording studio with the other people.
I think. Oh, she's from like Ottawa. What's it called?
Sandra
Sandra Oh's from Ottawa.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, but that was like, I know like the other voice actors who play like Maylin and all those people, they're all American. So like they literally could have just been like, oh, when you're saying Toronto, say Toronto, not Toronto.
Yeah.
Because that just makes it so inaccurate. Like, especially if they live in Toronto, no one in Toronto would be like, yeah, I'm from Toronto. Like, no.
No, honestly,
that was just like the one thing where I was like, oh man, like I wish they would have said it like that.
That's true. I felt like, but it was hilarious because, like, I think the part of why we were laughing is like every scene they were like CN Tower, it's there. Like, it's just, I liked it. But I mean, again, it is kind of accurate because whenever you're in downtown, like, it's always
literally
there.
You just turn around and it's there. Like, it's big,
so
it's gonna be in the background of everything.
It's just funny to me. Like, it's like,
oh yeah, I think it's funny because we're not used to it. Yeah, like I get like people, if any movie set in New York, like they're probably so used to it by now because there was like 1,000 and
I think
like,
they rolled their eyes like they're like, ugh, you can't get to the Empire State Building and to this place in 2 seconds. Like those.
Oh, that true. But then I don't think they'll be like, oh, they're in like the movie set in the area where the Empire State Building is. Oh, why is the Empire State Building in every shot in the background? Like, you know what I mean? I think they're just used to it.
For sure.
But for us, we're literally not used to that at all.
No.
Like a movie being so like, there are stuff set in Toronto, but they're not as like
Toronto
outward.
Yeah,
they're not like as enthusiastic about it, I guess. Like the only other movie I can think of off the top of my head right now that's like also like set in Toronto and is not trying to like it's in Toronto is like the F Word.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that too. Yeah,
Daniel Radcliffe and stuff. But obviously that's like a rom-com. They're not trying to be like, oh my god, Canada. But like, you know what I mean? But so I thought it was fun to see like just this movie being so aggressively like
Toronto
set in Canada. I thought it was so funny. And like I think there should be more like just movies that are set so that it doesn't have to be like a weird thing to be like, oh my god, the CN Tower.
Yeah.
Or she's like getting on the TTC or whatever. Like that should be as common as like movies where they get on the subway, like the New York City subway, you know?
I think it's like, I think we're slowly gonna get there. I think this is like obviously one step in the right direction, hopefully, I think. I'm surprised that like Vancouver hasn't demanded more respect because the amount
that's true.
No, the amount of movies they film there is actually like
actually funny you mentioned that. So I was watching a movie the other day. It's called Fresh. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
It's starring Sebastian Stan, aka the Winter Soldier, and like Daisy Edgar Jones, who I only know personally from Normal People. It's like a show.
Now, eh?
Yeah, so it's basically like a romance thriller
mystery
gory movie. Like it's about this girl who goes on this date with this guy and he turns out to be like a cannibal. But anyways, it's like on Disney Plus. It's really weird, but anyways, that movie is like set in Portland or like set in like Portland, Oregon, or whatever, like West Coast United States. But the movie was filmed in Vancouver,
of course.
And it's funny because in one of the shots, like they're outside and then the camera like pans to like where the street is behind them, and you can literally see like clear as day, literally no effort to conceal it, a Shoppers Drug Mart. And it's so funny because it's like they didn't even try. Like, and also what would you have lost by making this movie set in Vancouver? Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that was such like a slap in the face to be like, yeah, this is definitely in Canada, but we're just gonna pretend like it's not.
That was literally how I felt when we watched Broken Hearts Gallery. Like I was like, this is Toronto. Like I just as soon as the buildings, I was like, this is Toronto. Like, why are you pretending this is New York? Like, you didn't even. Yeah. And I was like, why is this man driving in a car in New York too? Like, this is
exactly why does this man own a car in New York City? Like this broke man. Anyway, we already did an episode on that. You can go and listen to our episode where we talked about how annoying it is that it's filmed in Toronto. So obviously, but that's why I was excited that this movie was like it's made like the director obviously is from like Toronto.
Yeah,
like
she wrote.
She went to Sheridan.
Yeah,
so it's fun to see, especially like a Pixar, like a big studio movie that is just set in Canada, to be like, you know, Canadians are just like everyone else. Okay, we go through our own problems just like everyone else. Yeah, we're human too.
I think it's so cool that she got to write this movie though. Isn't that amazing? Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Being like, literally. I want to write. Like that is the dream for me, honestly, to be at the point where I'm writing the kind of stuff that I would have loved when I was like younger.
Well, like I love listening, like reading all the articles and all the interviews and stuff where she talks about like all the inspirations for the movie. Like I was reading a thing before, like she took inspiration from some of the anime she grew up like watching, and then she took some inspiration from like Lizzie McGuire, and then like the boy band was inspired by like some of the K-pop groups that she liked and like stuff like that. Like I thought it was so cool because you can like so clearly see how it's like her as like a movie. Like she just put so much of herself into it. I think that's
literally
awesome.
stole my dream. Like I said that as soon as he said it was like a coming of age back in the early 2000s set in Toronto, I was like, stop it. I was like, no.
Yeah, literally. I was like, oh my god. That's why I was so excited too, because I was like, it's gonna, like, when I saw the trailer and I just saw how much of like Toronto, and I was like, oh my god.
Which is weird. I hadn't actually, which is like one of the first for me. I hadn't seen the trailer at all. Like I went into the movie completely blind.
Really? Oh my god. I remember when it first came out.
About it, I don't know why. I just didn't like it. Just didn't.
I saw it when it first came out. The song that was playing in the trailer was "It's Gonna Be Me" by In Sync.
No
but
way.
You know how they pronounce it? It's gonna be May. So it's like May.
Oh,
you know,
that's
like
funny.
May. And the movie set in May. I didn't know that until I watched the movie. But the trailer was so cute. It's basically just her like running through the streets of downtown. It was like a teaser, I guess, of like as the panda, and like she's like running past people, and everyone's like, and then like it's like it's gonna be May.
No, I hadn't seen it at all, which I don't mind. It was interesting to go into something blind. Like some people talk about that.
Yeah,
I don't think though. Like Disney is not a big spoiler of their movies, like ever.
No, that's what I'm saying. The trailer didn't really reveal anything. It was literally just her like running through as a panda, and then like people being like,
like I remember people being shocked that Tangled was a musical, including me, because they
I don't even remember that.
They so little, like with the teasing in the trailers, they literally just showed like Flynn trying to catch Rapunzel's hair. And it was like way too heavy. That was it. And I was like, okay.
Oh. Yeah, no, I didn't know going to Turning Red. I didn't know that it was going to be about like a boy band. Like I didn't know the boy band was even like.
I didn't think it would be that integral to the story. I figured.
Me too. Like that's what I was going to say. I knew there was like going to be something like. I think I remember hearing, but it wasn't in the trailer. At least that the one that I watched didn't say anything about there being like a boy band. And then I remember like just before the movie, or when the movie had just come out, and I was like about to watch it, someone said like. Someone was talking about it and they're like, oh yeah, most of the movie consists of them trying to get to like a boy band concert. And I was like, really? Like I did not get that at all. Like I didn't even know that was going to be such an integral part to the story. But I was happy about it because like I said, at that age I was doing the exact same thing. So.
No, I feel like the only movie like in that space that did have like a trailer that kind of said everything was Soul to me. Like Soul, not everything.
I still haven't watched Soul.
Oh, you haven't. But the premise is very much like explained in the trailer, which they kind of have to because it's like about the afterlife. So I feel like you can't just like casually get into that. So I feel like people need to understand from the jump. And also it was going to have their first like Disney Plus release, so I feel like you need to build more hype rather than like if it was like under normal circumstances. But that brings me before we close out quickly to our short question, because this is the third release, right? No, second technically Pixar release. No, third. I'm right. They did Soul solely on Disney Plus. They released it for free. They did Onwards also, and this is the third one, Turning Red.
What about Luca?
And Luca. Is that Pixar though?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, then this is the fourth one.
Let me double check.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're right.
I forgot about Onward. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Onward was so like just passed by. Yeah, like nobody talked about it.
It was mid. I think that's why.
Again, we did an episode on that too. You can go and listen to that one.
Oh my gosh, we did. Yeah, see, because we had nothing else to do. I'm sorry.
There was literally nothing else coming out.
Yeah.
So we were like,
so sorry. This is the fourth one now. You're accurate about
right.
Yeah. So how do we feel with? But a lot of people have been kind of complaining about Pixar's trajectory not being as like. I mean, to be honest, the last movie they released before this whole thing was Coco. So I think people are like...
It's been a long time. Like, I think I'll just say right now, like, I just feel bad for the people at Pixar. Because they're putting all this work into their movies. Yeah. And I get there's a pandemic and that you can't really do anything about that. But right now, like, I remember hearing, like, their excuse for Turning Red being released on Disney Plus was like, oh, but like pandemic, whatever. Yeah. Meanwhile, literally all of the movie theaters in the States were open. Like there was no lockdowns whatsoever. No. Literally, Spider-Man No Way Home had just come out 3 months earlier, not like a week earlier, so they didn't have time to think. 3 months earlier.
No, and you know what's dumb too?
And made like amazing box office money, and they were like, "No, we're gonna put on Disney Plus."
And it's also, I feel like it was dumb too because Encanto came out like not too much earlier before that, and that is an animated, like, because they could argue, oh, like kids, because No Way Home is a adult movie, so you could argue that families might not come out.
But families came out for Encanto, so it's like
that's what I'm saying. So I think that was like the dumbest excuse. I think that they just did that because they didn't want to, I don't know, give it a wide, but like I feel like they're screwing over, like Disney is like screwing over Pixar right now a little bit.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, when they get put on Disney Plus,
them on
like
a back burner for sure.
Yeah, because like putting it on Disney Plus, like literally, like I know when they release in theaters, Disney gets still a lot of the money, but like Disney Plus is a streaming service owned by Disney, not by Pixar. So like they're just not getting the money that they deserve. I mean, from like the box office sales.
Like technically speaking, we know that they would get a cut because it's the whole company.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know Disney's still gonna get a cut, but like you're putting it on a platform that's like just like very much like Disney platform or whatever. Oh yeah, and then we have this little movie like Turning Red or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it kind of just sucks for like people at Pixar, and the fact that like I heard some stories too about like how like Disney is cracking down on like Pixar movies, like they're not letting them put certain like scenes in the movies and stuff like that. Like I think they wanted to have, like they were saying, I don't know exactly, you can look it up, but there was some scenes in Turning Red that they wanted to have in there, and Disney was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
like you can't have that in there. Like it's just like I just feel bad, you know?
Yeah, that happens a lot though with Pixar, period. Like Pixar, I heard that with Up, they kind of had to fight a lot to even allude to the miscarriage that she had in the beginning sequence. Remember when they had a kid and then it didn't work out? That was like a big deal. Like it was already like and that was like a widely released 2 movie, so they were like shaking in their boots about that. So Disney's always been a stickler.
Yeah. Oh, they've definitely always been that
when it comes to Pixar films, because Pixar, as we've seen, likes to push the envelope and like really deal with deep emotions and like
for sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like I just feel bad for them almost a little bit that they're under Disney, because it's like I feel like they don't have the opportunity to like do like go as far as they want to go and then reap the rewards
for sure.
from
and I think
that. So like it just sucks.
Yeah, and I think for people who don't know, like Pixar literally runs like almost like a startup. I know it sounds dumb, but it does. Like they have a small knit team of people who have been working there for like 20 years, and all of them work on the projects together. Like there's always I forget
there's always the same names that are always there.
Put there because they supervise it. They make sure, like, obviously they delegate, but they're making sure like the stories. That's why their brand is so consistent. Like you never, like, you know when it's a Pixar movie, you go like, oh, that's a Pixar movie, because people are supervising it so closely. Versus like Disney, on the other hand, like Disney Animation, we'll say, works more like
everything,
like
all
people pitching stuff to them, and then they'll decide what they take on. So they can like. You can be kind of a stranger and kind of pitch something to them and they'll take it, or you could be an employee and they'll take it, but it doesn't really matter as much to them. Versus Pixar is very much like from within. And I think that's, again, works to the fact that that's kind of upsetting to them, because it's like these people have been there since day dot, and they're like, you know, really working on that. And
they're trying to like, all of their movies is always like trying to like push the envelope and like talk about stories and things, and then it just sucks that like they're just, Disney keeps like pushing them down,
right? And
no, stay down.
And you know what I'm really worried about is, and I believe this wholeheartedly, I think because Coco's success was so big, that's why Encanto could even happen, because Disney kind of tests, because let's be real, I think Pixar has a better brand, let's say. Like people think, oh, Pixar like is gonna be high end, right? People still like Disney movies, obviously, but I just think like
now there's just so much variety of Disney stuff that like it's not like Disney isn't always synonymous now with like being good
quality, right? Versus Pixar is. So I feel like Coco was kind of a test run, and it was honestly it was for Pixar, because it was like one of their first like real people movies. And
that's true actually.
And I think because it did so well, and like even like in the Academy Awards and everything, I think that's why they went with Encanto. And I'm worried that Turning Red didn't get the chance it deserved. And neither did.
Well, hopefully now that like a lot of people are talking about it,
hopefully,
and it's, like, really popular,
but I'm just worried
they didn't get the box office number.
Yeah, right.
Sucks.
I'm worried they're not gonna be able, they're gonna use it as like a crutch to be like, oh, we can't make an Encanto Asian version, for example. I know that doesn't make any sense, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or even Soul was with a black man, so same idea. Like, I think Soul even worse than, because Soul, again, very much under the radar. It just kind of But Turning Red, I agree with you. TikTok seems to, like you said, a lot of people are talking about it, so I'm not as worried about them, but I do worry
because they always look for excuses, like any way they can, like,
I know. Well, that's what I mean. Like, the excuses that they used to not give it a theatrical release was like the dumbest thing ever.
Yes. And it was like literally, it was on the cusp of being it. Like me and Monica
they announced it like 2 weeks before.
Theaters.
They announced it like 2 weeks before or something. They were like, oh yeah, we're not putting it in theaters. Like, that just sucks. Like, you know what I mean?
It was just, it's lame. And I hope it, like, by backfires, I mean, like, in favor of turning around, like, in the way that almost like some Netflix stuff that goes viral. Like, I hope Disney's keeping track of that stuff. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I hope
so too,
because I know Netflix is literally equipped to keep track of that stuff because it's the only way they keep track of anything. Versus Disney, I could see them being kind of foolish and not really, taking into consideration like how many people are tuning in and stuff. So
yeah, no, I hope so too. Because like, it just sucks. Yeah, again, like with the whole Pixar thing, like. I feel like it obviously, like, they got bought out by Disney a long time ago, but I feel like it just sucks that like they haven't been given as much like freedom, I guess, as they should be getting. For sure.
Okay, so finally, we're gonna give our letter grade to the movie. Sure. I've been conflicted. I don't know. I'm gonna put a slash. I know that's not a thing, but I'm doing it. Okay. I'm giving it. Okay, I'm gonna give it an A- because it's like, it really did that. It did that thing. Like, I feel like I have to give it props for being the first, and just, for breaking boundaries in a sense, for sure. Yeah. However, like, for me, like, feeling wise, I think I'd probably like lower it down to a B+ at some point, because I think for me, the emotional payoff just wasn't like there for me, and I kind of I was looking for that. Like, I was ready, and they didn't get me, but that's okay. Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's what I would just say.
For me, I'm just like, movies that make me cry are usually not the movies I like to rewatch. So I love a good happy
upbeat movie. Yeah.
So for me, I would give it like maybe like a lower range A. Like, you know how A sometimes, I guess, I remember like my grading scale from high school, and A was like an 85 to a 95. So it's a pretty big range. Whoa. So I'm thinking like more in like the 85 range A. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like for us, I guess A- was like 80 to 85, and then A was 85 to 95, and then A+ was 95 to 100.
Oh, really? My school's 90 is an A+. And then.
What?
Yeah, it's like.
That's weird.
It's like weird. A is like a smaller range.
I was here getting like a 93 in my class, and it was still an A. So
I'm sure that the profs adjusted however it's supposed to be, but I had like a 12.
Yeah. Well, anyways, like, yeah, that's how I picture like the grades in my head, I guess.
No, I think
so.
That's
I would
fair.
give it like a low range A, so like an 85 to 87 kind of range.
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 94, so it's like killing it.
Yeah. I could see that.
What's it called? And then audience score is 85, so I think that's really good.
Yeah, I think it's very fair, reasonable. Yeah,
for sure. All right, guys, that was our review of Turning Red. We hope
thanks for joining.
Enjoyed this podcast. Thanks for listening.
For Town Forever.
Yes,
is that what they say? And they put their little hands in the middle and go like,
For Town. I don't know.
I forgot what they say. Okay, I think it's For Town Forever.
Yeah. Well,
okay, sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier, but another thing that was super accurate when they're like, if they're called Four Town, why are there 5 of them?
Yeah,
that was funny.
Really funny. Yeah.
But
yeah, good movie. Go watch it if you haven't. I don't know why
if you haven't seen it. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go watch it.
These kids.
Like, it's
come on.
Yeah.
I never understand
it's really
people
good.
Who listen and haven't. Come on, what are you doing? But
go watch the movie. Go enjoy it. It's fun. It's cute. And yeah, thanks for joining us for this episode of Roasting Movies by the Fire.
Yes, we hope
we will catch you next week.
Yeah.
Next time. For a very exciting episode.
Yes.
I'm very excited
so
about
am
it. I still have to prepare though. I'm very behind on my
girl, I've been over preparing. I don't know how else to say that.
Shoot. I have so many things I have to do still for that episode, so
it's all good.
We've got time. And I'll do it.
You've got a royal amount of time. Wink. That doesn't even make sense, but
wait, what?
It was trying to make a pun, but it didn't work. That's it. That's all.
Oh, you know what? I thought I was thinking about something else, but yeah.
Okay.
Now I also have even more things I have to do.
Shoot.
I totally forgot about what next week's thing was. I mixed it up.
Oh, I think I know what you thought it was, and it's not that. No.
Yeah, but it's still the same sentiment. I haven't started anything
basically.
For that one.
Yes.
So yeah, I have a lot of things to do for that one.
Alrighty. We'll catch you guys next time. And
catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.